Good afternoon. Hi, Q. How you
Hey, Marylyn.
doing?
Doing all right yourself?
Did you get all your stuff done today?
I did, and there were still
Yes,
too
I'm
many
okay. Can you
people.
hear me?
I can hear
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Okay. Did you get everything done this morning?
Yeah, and there were still too many people out there. I left at 8:30 and I got back before noon and the freeway was already packed.
Well, I want to welcome you to Houston again today on April 22nd, 2023. Guess what? I don't think it's going to get much better.
Nope.
Wow. Wow. Saturday morning. You can't, what about
Mm-hmm.
Sunday? Have you ever tried to do your errands on Sundays?
I have not. Maybe I'll try that next. I usually try to rest on Sunday and not do anything, but maybe I need to
That's
switch it up.
smart strategy. Very smart strategy. Yeah, because I don't think the people are going anywhere. As a matter of fact, I think from the report I heard from Dr. Kleinberg that does the assessment on Houston, more people are coming here. That means more
Yep.
people on the freeways.
Mm-hmm. Yep. A lot of companies have moved their headquarters here.
That's the scary part. Yeah. So that
Mhm.
means more employees will be coming. And it's like some I remember when I moved here many years ago, I didn't understand the concept of a feeder.
Oh.
I never even knew that term, what that meant. I never heard it. And so when I was entering on and off the freeways where the traffic was going faster, I was still at regular speed. It didn't go well. I quickly learned from some of the names they were calling me and horns blowing and stuff that I need to accelerate more. And if
Yep.
I don't know what I'm doing, I need to get off the feeder and the freeway.
Hmm.
Yeah, you learn quick out here when you move here.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see you here today. There's David. Have you guys met Q? Have you met David?
I have not met David.
Oh wow. Well, you have a pleasure ahead of you. Just wait till you get a
Okay.
chance to meet him in person. He's not that
Okay.
far. He's not that far away from us. He's in the Austin area.
Okay.
So we need to take a drive up there in your new car. You need to take a drive up to Austin and meet with David.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, this is an interesting picture David picked because I'm at a place called the University of Evansville in Illinois. and I was the keynote there at their Women Veterans event several years ago. They were, oh gosh, delightful people to meet.
And why not? You're delightful.
That's the voice of David Elcock, in case you thought it was just like a voice from the past coming in.
Hi, Marylyn. How are you?
I'm good. I'm talking to my friend Q. She's known on this platform as Miss Kiana Gibson, IT professional extraordinaire.
Hey, IT
Hello.
professional.
Hi,
How are you, Kiana?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
I cannot even complain.
That's
That is not even a space for me to do such. I'm good. I'm
okay.
good.
David, I wanted to ask you a quick question. Would you like me to put like a neutral background in back of me instead of my picture of a woman veteran with an M16 that might
I
trigger
wanted that
somebody?
picture. I wanted you to send me that picture. I wanted to use
Oh,
that picture.
I forgot. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Miss Annie Lee, God bless her soul. She's passed on. I had one conversation with her. I found out she was married to a military veteran. And a couple months later, this picture appeared. She did all the artwork for Tom Joyner. She did all the artwork for the TV movie series, The Barbershop. She was a talented Chicagoan and a military spouse. I miss her very much.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like a wonderful woman. Sounds like
She
a power couple there too.
She was. She really was.
Very good. Where are we at on time? All right, we got about 8 minutes. Everything going well, Marylyn? Family? Everybody's good?
I haven't talked to, well, I did. I talked to my daughter. I asked her to join the broadcast. I'm not sure if she will be attending. You know, as she tells me, she's a very busy woman. And Mom, what are you talking about now?
That's all good. That's very good. Hey, look, you raised them to be you, right? You raised them to be like you. And there's no better compliment. There's no better imagery than have your children grow up to do good things. And so
Yes, they
go.
must do good things because I'm still alive and I'll come and get them if they don't.
There you go. Dio, how you doing?
Been a while.
You're doing well, huh?
Yes, I'm fine.
You've been active on LinkedIn.
I'm doing my best.
So Marylyn, this is Dio Okolo. He is from Uganda.
Hello, Mr. O'Kelly.
Hello, Marylyn.
It is 11:30 there, 11 o'clock at night there now.
No, it's 8.
8 o'clock. 8 in the evening in Uganda.
Yeah.
So
well, thank you for joining us. I've been to the continent, but not to your country. And I look forward to traveling there one day and meeting you.
Sure, no problem. Sure, I'm also looking forward to seeing you. Plus, your kids, I'm sure they are my age mates, babe. All that.
Well, please keep moving forward.
No doubt.
That's all I can say. Please, for this generation, keep moving forward.
That's a lot of what this conversation is going to be about. It's moving forward and grappling with the challenges that are associated with becoming a cybersecurity practitioner. I typically don't use the words break into, because break into sounds like you don't belong. And so anyone who wants to be there, and we've had this conversation, Marylyn, anyone who wants to be there and puts forth the effort to be there will eventually get there. It is not easy. It's not made to be easy. It's not built to be easy, but it's achievable. And if you have the mindset or perseverance, or as in Finland, they say the suri, right? The suri, which means grit, determination through all things, you'll get to be a cybersecurity practitioner. And again, being technical is not the only role, right? There's thousands of roles in cybersecurity that can be filled, from administrative roles, management roles, to even technical roles, and even accounting roles. So there's a lot to do in cybersecurity, and it's where we're going as a as a global community. So we've got about 5 minutes. I usually have Marvin Gaye playing in the background.
Oh, is it what's going on?
It's all, look, I was introduced to Marvin Gaye at a very young age, so I play a lot of Marvin Gaye. What's going
Really?
on, ecologies,
Perfect.
yeah, it's just everything from that era, and so that's my
That's perfect.
stilo. Yeah. So yeah, as we get there and more people start to trail in, it'll be good. This is going to be a great conversation.
Q, are you still on the phone? I mean, on the call?
Yeah.
I just want you to give a brief 60-second or 30-second elevator pitch to David so he knows who you are.
I'm a
'Cause I know
cyber.
you don't I know you don't like doing this kind of stuff.
I don't. So now you put me on the spot.
Yeah, being
Okay. So,
being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
okay. I don't need to turn my camera on or nothing, right? I can just talk like this.
Not until later. You put your camera on later.
Okay. So I've been in IT for 20 years this year. I went to school, I got my degree in programming, but I didn't get a job in programming because back then nobody wanted you unless you had experience. So I ended up getting my foot in the door doing tech support instead. I worked for a small internet service provider, and then I worked my way up. I moved to Houston in 2006, and I worked with JP Morgan Chase for a little bit doing tech support with them. And I transitioned into cyber in 2020, actually. And right now I'm working for a energy company here in Houston called Enchanted Rock.
Okay.
They do generators and microgrids, and some of our clients are HEB, Chick-fil-A, and Microsoft. And that's it.
HEB is a big one. My
It
God.
is. Like if you go in the back, you'll see like one of the generators that says Enchanted Rock.
It's interesting about HEB, but firstly, thanks for introducing us to you. It's great to meet you, and thanks for coming and being a part of this. Marylyn is a special soul at Cyversity, and we'll talk about all of that too. But I don't need to talk about HEB, but I think they're an astounding company in that they're like number 2 or 3 in grocery stores or large supermarkets in the country, and they're only in Texas. That's
Isn't that
really,
something?
that is
Isn't that something?
remarkable. It is
Yeah.
Isn't that
remarkable.
something? Yeah.
So you
We have some celebrities coming on the call, David. We
oh,
got
I
all
see
these
that. Last
cyber
time I said his
celebrities.
name, he jumped off the line. So I'm not gonna say anything. Say anything. Believe that he wants to say something, he will. That's cool. But you know what? Look, we're 2 minutes out, and so I don't think it's a problem for me to get started because I usually have a couple of housekeeping things that I have to do to go through with Marylyn. So let me go through that, and then we'll get started. But for everyone that's online, those who do know and don't know, and those that are coming, this is Cyversity's Engage Impact interview series. Over the last 3 years, we have interviewed folks that are CISOs or impact security practitioners that are within the cybersecurity, in Cyversity's network or in Cyversity's family of membership, and those outside of our membership as well. Usually we're focusing on bringing individuals to this conversation that have impacted the security industry in their own specific and particular way. But as for Cyversity and our mission, our mission is to achieve the consistent representation of women and minorities in the cybersecurity industry. And we do that through programs that are designed to create equity, to foster recruitment, to develop inclusion and retention. And while this is sometimes a big issue and sometimes not a big issue, it is Cyversity's mission and has been for the last 8 years. We're a membership organization, and as a membership organization, for those of you who are not members, on the screen is there's a QR code that you can scan so that you can get some more information about becoming a member. And as a member, we are also a dues paying membership organization, and we started that in 2020. So we've been around for like 6 years before we determined it was time to create and place a membership dues process in place. And students pay $20 to invest in themselves, and of course professionals do the same at $100. For those membership dues, there's quite a few benefits, and they range from career exploration, which means you may not know what you want to do, where you want to be, and how you want to matriculate or migrate into this industry. But we have processes and programs and platforms that help you look at who you are, look at what you are today, and how that is applicable, and how that applies to cybersecurity. In that you'll be, that's our career exploration. We also focus on, once you explore the career, do you have the competency, or how do you develop the competency to meet those goals and things that you're looking at that you need? And so we have a cyber skills assessment platform and program that helps individuals with that. We also help develop careers and capabilities and competencies through our engage events, scholarships, trainings, and of course, mentorship, which is a very big part of the Cyversity platform and program and organization. And lastly, one of the biggest and greatest things, in Marylyn is probably going to speak a lot about this in her conversation, is networking. And how do you get to where you can be through networking? One of our past speakers, Mike Palmer, the CISO from Hearst, which is a huge conglomerate, said that one of the best ways to get to that next step is through networking. Because if you're not in the room, someone needs to speak up for you if you're not in the room. And he could suggest a couple of books that help you get to that networking. But there's also our chapters that we have throughout the country, and we have 8 of them now, from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast, and there are chapters that you can join. We highlight a couple of topics: career development, career spotlighting, tech talks, leadership training and development, and transitioning from where you are into the cybersecurity field. Each month, as you can see on the screen, there are different highlights that we work through. February, of course, was Black History Month, and last month was Women's History Month. Next month is Asian American Pacific Islanders and Senior Citizens Month. And of course, June is LGBTQ and Pride Month. And of course, you can see the rest of those highlights from September through December. Here are our ground rules. They're very kind of simple. Just mute yourself in the background so we can avoid any noise. I'm a noisemaker in the background, so I got to remember to mute myself. This is a conversation. It's going to be about 45 minutes. And sometimes it runs a little bit longer than that, because we're always talking about things that are impactful to folks that join us. There's going to be a question and answer period at the close of this conversation. So, if you have questions, you can put them in the chat. We always like folks to come off mute and come on visually so we can see who we're talking to, and join this sort of fellowship and community. This session, as you already know, is being recorded. So thanks for joining and staying. At the end of the program, we're going to have this not QR code, but this link. I'm going to put it in the chat. I'm going to put it in the chat so that you can click on that link and go and add some feedback as to how this conversation went, if it was relevant, if it helped, or if it, frankly, if it sucked. But we're expecting that we'll have some great dialogue. Next month, and I'm just going to run through our next couple of speakers next month. Greg Richardson, who is a CISO advisor at Palo Alto, a very passionate brother out of Dallas, that is going to be speaking with us. After him, it's going to be Dr. Pate. He's a SOC director for CACI, which is a federal contractor. Then one of my good buddies, Lamont Orange, he is the CISO from Netscope. And after him, Olivia Rose, who happens to be a board member at Cyversity and runs our mentoring program. She and a couple of her colleagues are going to jump on for an interview. After that, we'll be talking with Elizabeth Augusto, who is the Chief Operating Officer from Bank of New York. And and of course, I messed up. Didn't I mess up? I sure did. My fingers are all broke now. Sorry. And then lastly, next would be Daniel Conroy. He's the Chief Technology Officer for Digital at Raytheon. He's going to be speaking in October and November. Sharon Burgess, who is now part of who has been a part of our board, now has moved into our chairmanship office with our current chairman, Julian Waits. But today, here's who we're going to talk to. We're going to be talking with Marylyn. Marylyn Harris is a good friend of mine, a good friend of ours, really a dynamic person in our industry. So she's going to be going through a lot of things that we've discussed previously and having some conversations. I'm going to stop sharing so we can get back to where we are. Hey, Beverly, how are you? I'm not asking you to come on. All right. Well, Marylyn, we got introduced to each other through Cyversity. I remember a couple of years ago, first time I met you, was very energetic young lady saying that I want to be in cybersecurity. I'm a veteran. I'm a nurse. I'm this and that. I'm like, I'm Jamaican, so don't worry about it. You're Jamaican. You need you got about 20 jobs, man. Well, I'm West Indian anyway, so we got about 20 jobs. But, for the folks that are here, I mean, some of us know about Cyversity and some of us don't. So, I mean, how did you find Cyversity? I mean, how did it come across your desk, and what has it meant to you in terms of your journey and your travel, career development?
I'm just excited seeing the slide deck and all the people that are here and all the people that are coming. This is what Cyversity is about. I've never seen this in my almost 5-year journey being in cybersecurity on a conference like this. It doesn't happen. That's how I was drawn to cybersecurity. It was nothing I did or researched or anything. I just have a wonderful mentor and one of my professors. He's on this call. The illustrious Dr. Trevor Chandler. He told me about you guys. He said, "Hey, it's a group of high-level cybersecurity professionals. Most of them at that time were men. They have an organization called ICMCP, International Consortium of, I forgot the name of it. Minority Cybersecurity Professionals. I remember that. So Cyversity has finally sunk in. I can't remember ICMCP's words, but anyway, he said you should research them. So I researched them, and I'm like, wow, look at all these guys making big money, CISOs and all these people, and everybody's connected and everybody's got businesses. I love them. So I applied to an upcoming conference they were having in Atlanta. And I actually applied for one of their scholarships through the guy that I think Julian still is the board of directors chair.
He's
Is he
the
the chair of the board of directors?
Yeah.
Mr. Julian Waits, his family had an scholarship. I wanted money to go. I applied. I was invited to a hotel and presented me with one of their prestigious Waits Family Educational Scholarships. That's when I met David. When I first walked in, he was on the left-hand side and he was standing behind a display and he's smiling. And I look down the hall and I see all these kind of people that I've never seen at any of the 150 tech conferences I've been at 4 years. All these kind of people, hues of color in their skin. I'm like, whoa, this is going to be good. And so that's how I got to cybersecurity. I'm a member. I'm back in school again for a master's in cyber. So I'm a student member now. And I just came from the most recent conference they had, the mentorship, the inspiration. I mean, I think Devin is like the global CISO of Carnival Cruise Lines globally. I mean, these people are moving forward, and I just wanted to be a part of it. The scholarship helped me to get my first cybersecurity certificate, and the people helped me more, knowing they exist, knowing that they're out there, they're accessible. I don't even have the words in my vocabulary to explain the excitement and the inspiration that just knowing Cyversity existed in 2019 and up to this point, knowing they have my back. There is no other organization I'm in like it. And I encourage you, if you're not a member, to take a serious look at membership. I hope I didn't get too much off track, but I'm very passionate about Cyversity.
I do that often enough. And this is, I think, why Cyversity really exists, because there are folks like Marylyn who are coming through, through our doors, coming into our community, becoming part of our membership that are, and Marylyn came in when we didn't have all these tools that we have today, right? It was really the more conversational piece where we were just talking and working together to help build a career path and a direction and focus, the trajectory that she would go on to become who she is today. But one thing I know is important is that, or interesting, is that, Marylyn, you've had a real serious military career, collegiate and military career. So I want to hear a little bit about Prairie View, and I want to hear a little bit about the. I like our
Prairie View nurse, Prairie View nurse.
Texas woman.
Represent.
No
They
doubt.
helped to create me. Yeah,
I mean,
quickly, my military career first. Is that what you like?
Either one. It's on you. You go.
I'm trying to make this succinct because it's a lot. Obviously, I am a woman. I am a former Army nurse and veteran. I am a veteran that went to war. I'm what's called the Gulf War veteran. I was deployed to the Middle East in 1990 to 1991 for Operation Desert Storm, Operation Desert Shield. What made my experience traumatic was that I was deployed as an individual. I did not go with my unit. I did not go with anyone I knew. I was deployed to a hostile environment by myself to join a group of people that had lived together in their community and worked together in their unit. And so it was a very difficult situation for me. I talk about this. I've been talking about this for 30 years. I was traumatized. However, the Army taught me skills when I joined at 19. It taught me skills that I still use today: leadership, fearlessness, fortitude, and so many other things, how to make a bed up the right way, all that kind of stuff. And it's a part of me. That's why I have this picture to my left, and probably you're right. It's a woman in camo with a baby and an M16 on her back, and just a backpack with tools and other equipment she needs to make it happen. And if you want to think of me, you can just think of a person that makes it happen. And as far as my educational life, I am adamant about learning. I love learning, just like I heard Professor Chandler say the other day. And so my career, I'll tell you quickly, I started off going to college. I went to college at a small private Quaker school. It really started a bit before that. My mother died of cancer when I was 8, and she and I lived together. So I had to move in with my grandparents and my mother's youngest sister that had 2 kids. And my family raised me until 2 years later. My grandfather died. 2 years after that, my grandmother died. When I was 8, 10, and 12, I had a series of deaths I had to deal with. It made me strong. I became the head of household. I became the watcher over my 2 cousins in our home. I became so responsible for everything at a young age of 12. I felt like a slave, and I couldn't wait to go to college. So I get to college. I don't have a mother. My father was a troubled Korean War veteran. He was not very helpful during those years. So I had to find my way. I had to learn the hustle spirit. I don't know if you can see this, but this says hustle harder behind me. I had to hustle. I found every penny to go to an out-of-town school for the first year. When I got to school, to the financial aid office, I did not have to pay them anything. They paid me. Guilford College, Greensboro, North Carolina. But in the second year, I ran out of money, and that's why I went in the Army. I stayed in the Army for 11 years. I did not get a degree until my 11th year. Like, I thought I would just make some money and be able to continue with my education. I waited it out. I learned the lessons of the Army, and I finally did get my first degree, my first bachelor's degree from Prairie View A&M University. It's a HBCU in and outside of Houston, Texas. I went to the one in Houston, the College of Nursing. I immediately continued school after I came back from war because I was interrupted while I was at Prairie View and went to war and came back. Fortitude. Remember what I said about fortitude. I immediately went to graduate school. In 3.5 years, I graduated from the University of Texas School of Nursing with a master's in nursing degree in psychiatric mental health nursing and addiction. So I worked as a nurse practitioner. Then I was recruited by my pharmacological reps, my drug reps. They said, would you ever think about doing anything else? And I said, then being a nurse. I've been a nurse. I went through a LVN program, a RN program, a master's program, and you want me to think about being something else? They said, you have a lot of talent. So they introduced me to their manager. That's when I took in 1999, a corporate move. I moved my family because I had 2 kids by this time and a sick grandmother. I moved my family to Austin on a corporate move, and I went into the world of healthcare business. I had never had a business class. I had only been a nurse. I know how to give bed baths. I know how to check vital signs. I know how to read blood counts. I knew how to do a lot of stuff, but I didn't know how to do business. And so I used my skills from the Army. When you face an obstacle that you're unsure of, start with what you do know, partner and link up with people to help you get a mentor. I did whatever I had to do. I had a 234 doctor caseload that I had to service, Austin, Travis County. I went all the way through down to, what's the name of it? Fort Hood. How could I ever forget that place? Fort Hood, I serviced those doctors. Then I came back to Bryan College Station. And in 3 months on that job, my partner, who was the senior, he quit. So I had that whole territory by myself, 234 doctors to service. They were all psychiatrists. I spoke their language. And guess what? In 1999 and 2000, there was not one other African-American drug rep in neuroscience in Austin. So when I walked into those offices in Austin, they were like taken aback. And so I had to prove myself again. But remember, I was already Army trained. I was already Prairie View trained. I was ready for them.
I was
And
going
so
to ask.
I just want to tell you two more quick sites I went to. I did that for 2 years. Then my dad died. I had to come back to Houston. I relocated back to Houston. And I started searching for resources to go to school. Like I told you, I have never paid for any of my education, any of my degrees. I have searched and hunted for resources. I am an expert in finding resources. I've taken my children all around the world on resources. All 3 of us went to China for $99. That was our flight. That's an example. And the professor said, and she still ain't paying for nothing. These resources are out here. I'm trying to get through this. So I ended up I wanted to go to Rice to a $78,000 MBA program. It was too much. I had 2 kids. I was facing them going to college. I had become a single parent. And so I just kept networking. I joined the National Black MBA Association. I joined anything I had to join to meet people. And what finally happened was I was granted the opportunity to get a master's in health administration from Houston Baptist University and a master's in business administration. I took 1 class in the master's of health administration. And I said, I've been in this for 20 years. I don't need this degree, but I do need an MBA. I got my MBA at the University of St. Thomas. I went to 5 continents practicing nursing and business and what the Army taught me. And I'm here now because I identified 5 years ago that healthcare, which I love and have spent my whole life in, I've been a nurse ever since, I can't tell you my real age because I go by 35, but trust me, it was somewhere in the early 80s. I started nursing. Patients could smoke in their beds. Okay, I started nursing before HIV/AIDS. So I've been a nurse for a very, very long time, and it is the foundation of everything I do. I've been a psych nurse for 25 years. I know that's a long answer, but that will answer some future questions. This is my pathway. I was disrupted in my personal life as a child without parents, but it was my motivation that this was the way, the hand of cards life threw at me. And I had a choice. Am I going to keep moving forward, or am I going to give up? I chose to keep moving forward. And now I stand before you with 4 degrees, all of them paid for, no student loans. And I studied abroad. I went to 5 continents, 5 countries. And I'm starting a new degree program May 15th, God willing, at the University of Houston downtown in cybersecurity management. I finally found what I want to do, and I'm bringing everything to cyber with me. I'm bringing my Army training in leadership. I'm bringing my nursing training and taking care of human beings, mind, body, and spirit. And I'm bringing my business acumen. I know it's a long story, but thank God it's a long story that
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have, that I was given, and you are being given the time to make a long story.
Well, I'm speechless. I'm speechless. You know, as I listened to you, I was hearing about the family background, grandparents,
He's
your granddad passing, and then your dad passing. In that whole family structure, are there people that you can look to say that they helped you sort of formulate or gave you some direction or push, some impetus to go in the direction that you went to that gave you that whole energy spirit? Who were they, and how did they help you?
I have the perfect example. All of them were, people kept dying when I had to go live with my grandparents and my mother's only sister. My grandfather died. Boom. He was the pastor of our church. My grandmother died. Boom. He took care of all of us, all the babies, while my aunt could work. And then it was just me. I became the leader. I used to have to cook, clean, take care of the house, pay the bills. And I was only like 12, starting out at 12 years old. And all of my family helped me. And then my extended family helped me, because unlike today, I lived in a community. I knew everybody on my block. I'm an East Coast girl hanging out in Texas. I knew everybody on my block. I could go to everybody's house. All my friends' parents knew. My mother died when I was 8. People were compassionate and tried to help each other. The hairdresser helped me. The lady that owned the store around the corner helped me. The people at the church helped me. The teachers helped me. They would pick me up on the weekends if I couldn't understand my calculus, pick me up, take me to their house, teach me, feed me, and another group of gifted and talented students, and bring us back home. My teachers, I was in the band. I played flute, I played alto sax, and I played the bells, and I was a color guard. I would go to my band director's house. Do you understand what I'm saying about look for the people that are open to helping you grow? They're
Right.
all around you, even in this day and time. I went to my band director's house. They taught me the flute. I went from not knowing how to play the flute to a first flute. Look to the people that want to mentor you and even sponsor you. Do not look past them. That's how Maryland got to be Maryland, because Maryland don't have no brothers and sisters. Maryland don't have a natural mother. Maryland don't have a father. But Maryland got a whole lot of people on her side. As a matter of fact, I think my dean from Prairie View from 1989 is on this call. If not, I know I gave her I talked to her. She wished me well. And my dean, I talk to my dean from nursing school almost every day. I started in 1989. People are our most important asset. Treat people kindly, keep them close, because we all need each other to get through this life. I hope that answered that.
More than enough. More than I asked for, and great to hear it and have it. Um, your business. Since we're jumping around, I wanted to jump over to Harold Business Consulting, because we talked a lot about how you are able to fund your education without bankrupting your financial future. I mean, can you? Are there a couple of steps, key pointers, or things that you'd like to share with folks who want to do that as
Yes.
well?
First of all, read. I read everything. If you come to my house, it's all papers and stuff. I read everything. That's how I know stuff. Okay, I wrote 2 books on Texas veterans benefits that they need to know before I started my nonprofit to help veterans start benefits. I research, read, research. The best resources that people look over are right under our nose. The public library. If you use the public library, some public libraries in this city, definitely the county libraries, you can get a free subscription to LinkedIn Learning, which is 17,000 classes that will teach you just about anything. A free subscription from a library card. We forget about the older methodologies that we used to use, because I used to have encyclopedias at home and I could read those. Some of you younger people might know what not know what an encyclopedia is, but it was a good thing at that time. But read, that is my first thing. Read, be a lifelong learner. You say, Marylyn, why are you in school again? Because that's where the information is. That's where the people are. That's where the contacts are. Yes, Professor Chandler, World Book Encyclopedia. I just believe in being kind to people, asking people for help, being of service. I am in probably 10 cybersecurity organizations. I'm in 10 organizations related to my military life, and I'm probably in 20 related to my personal life, because I'm in the organizations of my young people that were formerly my children. I'm in the organizations. I am a faith community nurse, so I work with churches and communities of faith to help people body, mind, and spirit. I give presentations on entrepreneurship. All of this I do at the same time because it's all in me. I meet needs. I right wrongs. And Guy Kawasaki, who used to work for Apple and started Canva, he said, that's how you make your life meaningful. You solve a problem, you meet a need, you right a wrong. And I do that in my personal life and through my businesses. Harlan Healthcare started in 2007. As I was graduating business school, I knew I wouldn't fit in a corporate environment. I have PTSD, and sometimes I talk too much. This is real talk, right? This is
no
a real
doubt.
talk show.
No doubt.
You know,
No doubt.
I'm a woman, I'm over 55, I'm disabled, I've been in the Army, I got all these degrees. People think, oh, she thinks she knows a lot. No, I know about hard knocks. That's what I know about. I don't wear them on my face, but that's where I learned. I learned by not having. I learned by not getting in the door. I learned all that stuff because I had to figure out ways to get in the door, to get to Harvard, to get to Dartmouth. I didn't even tell you guys about all those programs I've been in, but always be a hunter. Always be looking, if not for you, for somebody else, and share it with somebody else. It will come back to you.
Let me ask you a question.
That's the answer, David.
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. Let me ask you a question about life lessons that you heard. I'm sure you've had some life lessons from your military experience, from your nursing experience. It's got to be. I've spent some time serving healthcare, and there are a ton of lessons that I learned from working through trying to develop patient outcomes. So share with us some of your life lessons, and then I'd like to talk about how those life lessons help direct you toward the security industry. So share some lessons, and then let's talk about the direction.
Thank you. And I have them written down so I won't get off topic. First, every day, seek to know yourself. Seek to know yourself. Think about this. If you have a piece of paper right now, write down your top three strengths. Do you know them? Can you articulate what they are in a conversation in less than a minute? If you can't, there's a book that helped me. It's called Strengths Finder 2.0. Some of you may have done it. Strengths, STRENGTHSFINDER 2.0 by Tom Rath. It's an old methodology, but you get the book. You can go to Half Price Books. Get the book, make sure the code has not been tampered with, take the assessment, and it will give you your top 3 strengths. Think about those, see if it's the truth, and then start telling people who you are. I am strategic. I continue to love learning, and I have a lot of empathy for other human beings because I'm not perfect, and I accept their imperfection and move on. The first thing is know yourself. The second thing is, at this level, know your worth. Know your worth. Don't let somebody pay you $15 when you should be making $50 an hour. Know your worth and articulate it well. Have proof. Like I talked about a minute ago, make meaning. When I die, when I leave this earth, I want to be known as somebody that helps so many people. I've done that through my businesses. I've done that through my work in the faith community. That's the person that was a person that really loved people because she was loved. And if you weren't loved, find love. And I'm not talking about like physical love. I'm talking about people that care about you. I told you about my whole lineage. My mother died at 8. A whole lot of people got me to this space right now where I am. Be kind to people. Be kind to people. Travel. See more than the United States. Connect with people around the world. And like I said, maybe I'm repeating myself. This is so important. Be a lifelong learner. If you come to my house right now, it's nothing but books. It's books all behind me, papers. It's all kind of stuff. I read stuff off the wall. I read stuff that's on the ground. Guess what? I started all my businesses. I didn't even have to put any money in. I went to business plan competitions. I pitched. I had conversations with people. I begged with dignity. Whatever I had to do to get it done, I got it done. And that's the person, the product, me, that I bring to cybersecurity, David.
Right. And so what I've heard you say is that you read, that's one of the tools that you use. The other thing is that you pitch constantly to folks that can help you. And you're a lifelong learner. Those are three things that you utilize to sort of create and develop yourself and then begin your
Yes, and
trajectory
being
toward
kind to people,
and
being
being
kind
kind
to
to people.
people. But it all starts with knowing yourself. And Harlan Healthcare started because I didn't want to go into corporate America. So I found out at one conference I went to by the University of Houston Small Business Development Center that they had a conference one day at the end of like my last semester of school at St. Thomas getting my MBA. I could have been a millionaire a long time ago if I would have knew that as a disabled veteran, I am 100% permanent and total disabled veteran. That is relevant. And I've been one for over 20 years because some bad stuff happened to me when I was over in the war. But I'm not a disabled person. I am very able to do a lot. I figured out that had I started in government contracting, before I went to business school, it was a $73,000 program. I didn't pay for it, but somebody paid for it. I could have been rich just off government contracting. So I spent the next 2 years after business school learning how to be a government contractor in Harlan Healthcare. We basically are an educational charity, not charity, for-profit LLC. My second business is my passion project. I started with my kids, 8 and 10, and no money, the country's first women veterans business center in 2010. We traveled around the country educating and empowering women veterans like myself because there was nothing for us to start and grow businesses. And we also taught military family members. I'm still doing that to this day. I have a job and a contract doing that with a vendor that has a federal contract. I am doing the same work throughout every area of my life. When people say my name, Marylyn Harris, she's teaching, she's connecting with the resource, she's keeping somebody safe and secure. She's not telling nobody's secrets. So it leads me to the next question. I already was doing cybersecurity. I just didn't know the terms and I had never took a class. I've been doing cybersecurity since I was 12 years old when I had to take care of my 2 little cousins. I put this in my presentations. When I had to take care of my 2 little cousins by myself, I was 12 years old. I had to keep the house secure. I had to make sure that they didn't get hurt. If we had any money, I had to keep that secure. And then I had to not tell nobody. And so I already was in cybersecurity. I just had to learn. I had to learn technology. I had to learn the ecosystem. And I've done that for the last 4.5 years and still doing it today.
How is the women's, firstly, thank you for that. I wanted to delve into how you're helping women transition out of the military and through with your business, Women's Business Center. I'm sure there's some key elements that you'd like to share with us.
Yes, we are a 501c3 nonprofit educational charity, and we do women veterans business training. Now, this is also open to military families, so that means we're open to everybody. but our name and our focus is on women veterans, because in 2008, 9, 10, there was nothing like this for us when we came out of the military. Whatever way we got out of the military, ended our time in service, there was nothing, no organization that specialized in us training women veterans to start and grow businesses. We do business training workshops, we do business networking events, we have a speakers bureau, and right now, you'll love this, David, I haven't told you this, we are partnering with various vendors to start doing free workshops for small businesses to help
Nice.
them audit their cybersecurity policies and posture. Now,
Nice.
we are not selling anything, but if they, for instance, need a package, we will have some of our trusted vendors there that they can talk to in these events. And these will be in Houston, and some of them will be virtual. And so those will start happening in May. We're also getting ready for 3 $1 billion+ contracts in Houston that are happening in Houston. So all you need to be is a state of Texas hub vendor and get into the money stream. That's another whole presentation, that part of my life. But we help start and grow businesses 3 years after starting this business with nothing. I started with a pitch competition and won $2,500 and won a free airplane fare round trip, and I won free marketing. I got on the radio. All this stuff was free from participating in the Houston Citizens Chamber of Commerce business plan pitch. That's how I started my business. I use the same methodology in everything I do. Flying my kids around the world so they could walk on the Great Wall of China, so they could see that London Bridge in London was not falling down. So they could go to the Nobel Prize Museum in Stockholm, Sweden, and hear the voices of Black Nobel Prize winners and others. I use the same methodology. I hunt, I search, and then I find, I activate, and I share. I share with others. Ask anybody, Marylyn shares. Let me say this one last thing. 3 years after starting the Women Veterans Business Center, Professor, if you're still on here, we got a call from the Obama White House. It said, Ms. Harris, we understand the work you're doing around the country is exceptional. And the president would like you to come to the White House. I brought 10 of my relatives, my kids that started the business with me, and 10 relatives, my best friends in the whole world came. And we were celebrated for doing this work. We didn't only do it in Texas, we went all around the country promoting this. I was picked up early on by Syracuse University. Now it's $100+ million entity, the Institute for Veterans and Military Families. Dr. Mike Haney, the Vice Chancellor, wrote my letter to the Office of the President to get this Champion of Change award. From helping people, from being in the community I love, women veterans, military families, finding a need and finding a way to meet it. I was honored by the president. That award will follow me for the rest of my life. It's opened many doors. And my responsibility is to do even more. Through cybersecurity, I will be doing big things to help people. Right. I promise you.
Where are you at now in your specific cybersecurity journey? I know that so I don't know anything. Let's just start there, right? That's the best place to start. But tell us where you are in your own cybersecurity journey.
I feel like I've come from a profession and from training. I went to Prairie View A&M University. Those instructors don't play. I have to know everything. And entering cyber, I started at a 5-day Network Plus boot camp. I didn't even know what networking meant. I thought it was refreshments, drinks, and food. I was sitting in there with a book. I never heard of the OSI model. I definitely didn't know what a script kiddie was. And I knew I wasn't going to learn it in 1 week, 5 days. In the training session I was in San Antonio. So I came back to Houston and I started hunting for programs that would fund me to learn, what is this networking stuff? What is this security stuff? Nurses at the time, we never had one tech class.
Right.
We never had one tech class. And then the healthcare industry from 2014 on, when the medical records were planning to be digitized, we rejected that.
Of course. Yep.
Yes. And
I
so
remember.
this was foreign to me. So it has taken me all this time to go to all these conferences, to meet all these people, to find amazing organizations that accept a multi-potential person like me. It's taken me all this time to find Cyversity and women in cybersecurity and women in security and privacy and all the other people that have helped me. Grace Hopper. I've been to so many wonderful conferences. I've been learning. I've been learning. So now it is time for me to implement. I'm going to do that through advocacy work in the community. I'm going to start having these events to help people understand if their networks to their small and medium-sized businesses are secure. And then I'm going to do some proprietary tabletop exercises, David, so people can really experience where they are. That's what I'm doing on the business side. On the personal side, I'm going to, Cyversity just gave me a grant on Friday. Thank you so much, Cyversity, to get a certification in governance, risk, and compliance. That's the first one. And the second one is cloud security. So I'm going to be working on that. And then I'm also going to be working on my first executive leadership certification, which is called by Osaka CISM, Certified Information Security Manager. It took me, David, at least 3 years to figure out that's what I should get because of the way I'm going. I want to be a consultant, preferably on a team of high-end executive consultants talking to business owners, preferably in the healthcare industry around the world. I came into cyber for opportunity, for travel, and for MONEY.
This is a good thing. This interview has been great because if I ask one question, I get a plethora of response, which is great. And it
That's
covers
how
a
my
lot.
head is. My professor has put me on blast. My professor just put it in the chat.
I see Dr. Chandler in the background saying things.
He's like, Miss Harris just got a grant for a foot. Don't put me on blast like that, Professor. I didn't even get a chance to tell him. Don't be overwhelmed, please, with my methodology, the way I talk. This is the way I live. I'm a hustler, okay? I hustle for good. The more I hustle, the more I can help people because I don't keep what I learn to myself. I've always been a giver and I get my blessings that way. But I am, to your exact point, I am looking for work, planning for part-time work while I'm in this master's program. I would like to work with the team and see exactly what they do. And I would like to better understand how my knowledge and experience is going to augment and move forward the processes at the team and helping keep people's organizations secure and private, preferably in healthcare. So I'm looking for that kind of job if anybody is on the call or knows anybody on the call. I'm going to RSA next week.
I was going to ask you about that before
the
you
last
jump
time I went, guess who sponsored me? Cyversity sponsored me to go to my first RSA conference. This thing is not cheap. It's like $2,500+. And so this year, Women in Security and Privacy is sponsoring me. I'm leaving on Monday and I'm looking for work and partners. Okay. I am a business and a brand and a cybersecurity student.
Great. We could definitely talk about how Cyversity has helped so many folks. It's been an incredible odyssey to be a part of that organization. I know I have a couple more questions, but I do want to turn to the audience and ask anyone in the audience if they had a question for you specifically about your journey, about where they are in their journey, how to help them in their specific effort. Does anyone have a question that they'd like to ask? I'm going to wait 4 seconds. No. So listen,
I'm sorry. I have a question. I was trying to get off of mute within your 4 seconds. I have a question for Ms. Harris. A wonderful interview. Ms. Harris, I know that in the beginning of your journey of transitioning, you wrote a book for veterans, veteran women and families. You wrote a book on how, on guiding them. If you can kind of give just some little insight of that book, how it paved the way, and when is your next book coming out?
Before you answer that, Marylyn, can you introduce who you are that just asked that question, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Angela Freeman. And I have a radio show called All About Business with Angela Freeman. And so I've heard, know Miss Harris, and I've heard many stories, but this is one question I have not been able to get across to her. And as she was talking, I wanted her to express her book that she's wrote and when the next one is coming out.
Great. Thank you very much.
Ms.
Marylyn?
Freeman, thank you for participating today and for being here. That's really my little sister. She
Put
has
it
a
out
big
there real nice though, professionally. I love
she
it.
has a big fancy job at a big fancy organization that, you know, if you have a business, you guys might need to get to know her. Um, I wrote the book because there was a need at the time. Veterans didn't know how to act. Don't get mad at me. In Texas, one of the reasons I live here is in spite of how our government acts sometimes, it is really a great place to live for veterans.
Absolutely.
If you are a veteran with a certain percent from 0 to 100% disability, it depends on what kind of things you get. Like for instance, one of the things I consider a blessing that I get from being a veteran is I ride the toll roads for free. I can just ride the loops if I want to. That's a big thing because I'm saving like $1.75 plus every time. Also, there's benefits on your taxes for your homes. And then one benefit in Texas, we have something called the Hazelwood Act. So you get 150 free credits and your children at any state of Texas school. Do you hear me? So my kids were already getting military benefits because I'm a disabled veteran at the percentage I am. So not only did they get their education, their school paid for, they got money every month to spend while they were in their bachelor's programs. That's just one benefit. And so a lot of veterans at the time when I wrote the earlier books, 2019 and 2010, they didn't know their benefits. We're doing a better job in the veterans community. But to your point, Ms. Freeman, I know you won't leave me alone. Just let me get in this program at U of H downtown, get through with the summer. I might be able to start it in the fall because I have tried to write my methodology down, how I take cheap trips. We went to Singapore for $250. I mean, Sweden for $99. Before I was a business owner, I was interested in the travel industry. And what I do know, I went to South America. I mean, South Africa for free and took a friend.
Right.
I mean, there are so many opportunities out here, but it all goes back to reading. You have to read. You have to talk to people. You have to listen. You have to gather information that you're seeking and remember your resources. Very important.
Let me ask you a question about the women that you're touching. You're helping them develop their business acumen. Is there also a part of your business that helps them to sort of understand their financial capabilities, to develop their own financial wherewithal so that they don't make a ton of money and then wastefully, men and women, whoever you're teaching, how do you help them from a financial point of view?
Well, we don't do specifically financial acumen teaching, but like right now I'm in a program with a partner, the Lift Fund, and the Lift Fund does do that training. So just like a couple weeks ago, we were invited to the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So we're partners with the SBA. I don't think this really might blow you guys away. I'm still honored for this to have happened to me. I served in 2 national appointments. That means you have to be appointed by the secretary of a U.S. department. I served in the Department of Veterans Affairs Research Advisory Committee on Veterans illnesses during the Gulf War. I am a Gulf War veteran and I was exposed to over 30 toxins, which is the reason for some of my disabilities today. I served on that national committee. I was the only nurse with prestigious doctors around the country. I also served on the advisory committee of Veterans Business Affairs for the USSBA. That means I flew to DC frequently to help determine policy and to help to advocate for veteran-owned businesses. So I didn't only get involved locally. This is the message. Get involved nationally. You can do that through the devices, the virtual devices. You don't have to go to DC to be a DC player or to verbalize your concerns. You can do it virtually. So don't only limit how you give back virtual to your local area. David, I got one more thing. And in terms of leadership, I know all of you are leaders because you're in cyber. There's something else you can do. There is what's sometimes called an invisible leadership track to us. African Americans, don't let it be invisible. I started my first level when I was in business school. It's called Project Blueprint through the United Way. You learn the skills to become a nonprofit board member. Then most major cities, if you live by a major city, there's another program called, like in Houston, it's called Leadership Houston. You get to know everybody in Houston, all the major industries and the players. I have to have a whole nother session like this to tell you about resources and how you can make these resources work for you. I think that program is $4,000 or $5,000 a year. Project Blueprint is like $600 a year. The next level is called American Leadership Forum. That's the creme de la creme of the city. That's like an $8,000 program. You can get scholarships for this. I got scholarships for all my programs. When you are in these programs, you network like you've never networked. Doors open for you. I have been invited to things I never even heard of. Networking. If you're working in a SOC, if you're working somewhere with dark drawn curtains, get out of there. On your days off, get out in the sun and network. Just be a whole nother person. Find the resources that you need. If you want to start a business, find the resources. If you need whatever it is you want to do, have a well-rounded life in cyber.
I've got two more questions for you. The first is, where you're headed off to RSA, which is a big cybersecurity conference out in San Francisco. It's really, if you will, the creme de la creme of conferences around cybersecurity. And you've been there before, and you're going again. What's your focus there?
My first focus is to make sure I go to the Cyversity reception, because the last time I was ended up working at the desk. So if they need help, I'm going there first. Then I'm going to the Executive Women's Forum. I don't know if you guys ever heard of them, but they just recently gave me a very prestigious award as somebody in information security to watch at their annual convention. It was in Phoenix. Oh my gosh, so many organizations. I owe all of my education and experiences to women in cybersecurity, women in security and privacy. So many people. Oh, and I have on my ISC squared tag. I don't know if y'all can see it. And then I have on my service disabled veteran-owned small business tag too. So all my stuff is meshed together. I don't know. I just live one life. It's all meshed together. I'm doing good everywhere I am, making money moves. And so find your pathway. Find your way of doing this.
Dio, I know you had a question before you got disconnected. Do you still have that question, or should I move on, Dio? No question there.
I hope we didn't lose him.
I have a question.
You do have a question?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Concerning, because I'm sure Marylyn is very good with elevator pitches, so I would like some few pointers from her concerning.
Talk to me. Tell me who you are. Tell me who you are in 30 seconds. Talk to me. Come on.
My name is
You got a brilliant brain, don't you? You have a brilliant brain. Tell me about yourself. Oh, I hope we didn't disconnect.
My name is Dio,
you go ahead. Dio is dialing into us from Uganda, so we may have some latency in the connection. So we'll be patient as he goes through the conversation.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it is a little choppy, Professor. Did anyone else have a question? I know I saw another young lady come on just before and then went away.
Find your tribe, find your tribe. Everybody from classes I didn't hang with. The people that are motivated, the people that, like, I'm not only doing this for a job, I'm trying to build a brand, I'm trying to build wealth.
Absolutely.
It's more than that. And if it takes longer for me than the next 3 people, well, so be it, because I just got to get what I need to get. And it takes however long it takes. I'm not on a traditional path, and I make no apologies for that.
No doubt. Ambler, do you have a question? Ambler Jackson?
Hi there, Marylyn. It's good to
Hello.
see you. And nice to see everyone and meet you all virtually. I love the small group setting here.
Absolutely.
Marylyn and I met through Women in Security and Privacy. I'm the co-lead for the DC chapter. And Marylyn, I just want to give you your flowers now. She is so consistent, and everything that she says is so uplifting. I don't care who you are, male, female, but especially for women. Obviously, I have a bias towards women because of the group that I serve. But I wanted to ask you this question, and it may be a little pointed, so let me know if we should take this offline, but others might have the same question about starting your own business and that time period where if you are trying to get certified with a designation, whether it's women's small owned business or minority owned small business, and I may be saying those wrong, but I think you know what I mean. There's a time period in which if you're already working full-time for another employer and you want to start going after those contracts, you're not allowed to keep that full-time job. You must be working full-time in your business that you want to obtain a contract for. What did you do, or what suggestion would you have for taking that leap and saying, okay, I want this designation. I want to be certified as a woman-owned business through the SBA. And I understand that you guys don't want me to have this full-time job. I need to be working full-time in my business. What would you do to financially survive that time period in which there's going to be a period where you're not going to be getting any money, right? Until you get your first contract and things of that nature.
Great question.
I get asked that question a lot because, like, I just work on contracts, individual contracts. I don't work full time. I can't say I work full time. Mm-hmm. And I think the thing to do is think about your business structure. Who else works with you? Is it like a sole proprietorship? Is that what you're referring to? Or would you have a spouse or a relative or a trusted alliance that could actually be the person that handles the financial part of your business until you want to come over to being fully responsible for all aspects of your business? You may have to use one of those options, because you're right. I know in terms of the women-owned small business program, because I've always been a federal contractor, they have gotten really, really strict.
Yes, ma'am. It's very, there are very specific rules that have to be followed before you can actually and actively, even if you're in SAM.gov, but actively pursue these contracts. And what I've noticed is that, as you stated, in other households where there's sometimes
spouse,
it's easier for those who have spouses, exactly. But when you are single and you're trying to go down this road, that obstacle keeps people like me from being able to successfully do it. It's not to say that it can't be done, but if you have something that's paying the bills, just real life, jumping off that cliff to go to something that's not going to immediately pay the bills could be super challenging. But I know there's a way to do it. And if anybody knows, Marylyn,
I'm gonna talk to you offline. We're gonna see each other next month at the Security and Privacy Conference. But let's talk. Are you going to be at RSA?
I'm not, unfortunately. Yeah.
Well, can we talk next weekend? Because I want to talk to you offline about some case studies that I'm aware of and how those people in the case studies did it.
Absolutely.
Ambler, can I ask a question?
Sure.
What is it that you're trying to accomplish? What is the business?
Sure. It is a data privacy, cybersecurity consulting firm. And the offering is similar to what Marylyn stated. If you come to me and you say, you know, I have this business idea, but I'm not so sure that I'm mitigating my security risk or mitigating my data privacy risk. I think I am, but I'm not sure. Can you help me have some confidence in what I'm doing so that, one, I'm not exposing my business to fines off the bat, you know, and that I don't structure my business in a way that is going to put me at risk, or let's say if it's a law firm, put my clients at risk, right? They have very different responsibilities when it comes to data privacy. And so that's the offering. It's consulting in the data privacy and cybersecurity space. My background is law, cybersecurity, and data privacy. So I'm wrapping all of that up into one offering.
Nice. And when you say that these are your offerings, do you consider that your offerings are, and since this is a pointed conversation, right?
I know, and I apologize to the rest of the group.
No, yeah. I'm just gonna ask some questions because I wanted to understand if you are indeed alone in this, or are there other partners that you can, I don't want to say rely on, but collaborate with, or white label, or in some way pull your services through their services until you have a margin of revenue that allows you to jump off of working with someone else so that you can, because there's a pathway to saying, hey, listen, we have complementary services, or we have complementary things that we can do complementary. I'd like to take my skills and flush them through your organization, be compensated for that, and then at a point in time where I'm receiving relative compensation, then jump out on my own. And then you still have a partner that you can go back to and say, hey, we did work together, we've got a relationship, we've got time together, let's continue to build that and build the business. I'm seeing a lot of that now in larger corporations who do have some competencies together, and then some that don't have some. So I'm just wondering, are you just alone, or is it that you want to be alone, or do you, or the, this means to get around what you're talking about. This means to get around that.
So part of it is not having the information you just stated. It is not a desire to be alone. It's lack of knowledge. So I think I have to be alone, if that makes any sense. I don't know the collaborative route to accomplish my goal. So that's lack of knowledge. There's a gap there. I know I'm going to be successful. I have the capabilities. I know what to bring to the table to move it forward, but I don't know who. And I haven't had an opportunity, because I am by myself, to explore it. That takes time, right? To research, as Marylyn has always stated, the resources. It sounds like you're saying there's resources available to you, Ambler. Have you explored it? No, the answer is no.
I have a question. They just changed their name, the PTAC. Have you ever talked to them? Procurement Technical Assistance Center. They're under the SBA umbrella. Now they're Access Accelerator. I just had a meeting with my PTAC rep because I work in government contracting. And this is learning, you guys. This is learning. The PTAC, you go there, you request a counselor, you get a counselor, and then you get a soft handoff to the Procurement Technical Assistance, now Apex Accelerator people. They only deal in government contracts, and they have signed a memorandum of understanding and agreement. They're not going to disclose your company information. And then I would look in the chat also and get David's LinkedIn information. When you're talking to me and people like Angela Freeman and probably some other people I can't see on the call right now, we talk about business. Our conversations are always about business, and it's about business building each other. Business building each other. I'm glad to see you. We've never met in person, but Ambler she's been responsible for helping me get in some doors. I appreciate it.
That's great collaboration.
Every time we've chatted, and I remember distinctively being on the phone with you for about an hour and a half.
That's all?
And it was just so wonderful. It was like speaking to, a trusted advisor off the bat. I mean, it was our first time having a conversation, we were talking about women in security and privacy stuff, but of course, some personal things and business things came up. And so I appreciate you, Marylyn. Thank you everyone for letting me take this time. And nice meeting you all. I will check the chat for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Amber, thanks for
to
standing
all
up.
to all the listeners, that's what it's about. You know, Cyversity is about growing yourself. If you have a brand, growing the brand. I know the young man that's over the, is it the Austin chapter, Bennett Hendricks?
Yeah.
I remember when he was just, you know, getting his jobs. And then at the last conference, put the Power Up Cyversity conference, he not only was a speaker, he had an exhibit booth. He had started a business. I mean, for those of you that are not involved with Cyversity, I encourage you to look at their website and look at what they do. They do so much more. They do so much more than what they express on the website. And I hope that I'm an example of that. I did not know anything 4 years ago. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I needed to be a cyber warrior and be in cybersecurity. I did not know I would end up in cybersecurity management. I did not know I would get another degree. All the doors have been open for me to be hugely successful in this area. And I can tell you a peek into what I'm doing. In the next couple of weeks, I'll be opening a technology company in the state of Texas.
Nice, nice. So I before I ask my last question to you, Marylyn, does anybody else have any questions that they want to ask?
Sure,
All right,
I'll speak, David.
Hey,
See, I had to catch it before you said
4 seconds.
Yes. Marylyn, thank you so much for sharing those tips, those words of wisdom. Really appreciate it. I really don't talk a whole lot about myself. David might be able to attest to that, but
Definitely I'll attest to it.
Whatever. Okay, so but currently I am unemployed. I am with Cyversity. I'm in the Cyversity mentorship program, which has been a blessing to me. So I am working on building my brand. I'm working on building my network of great resources, as you mentioned before, and trying to find my tribe. I am an IT professional, been in technology for a long time. So I'm trying to navigate into that cyberspace. And like you just mentioned a little while ago, I'm still kind of trying to figure out where I want to go, but I know I enjoy working with people. I love to learn as well. I have been looking at a little bit of governance, risk, and compliance, and we just actually completed a 6-part GRC interview with a gentleman from No Name, who just took us through all of the frameworks and what all is entailed in GRC and how you should, build relationships and be able to look for weaknesses and try to help that organization set proper controls in place. So that was good. But also,
are you interested in that, to do that on a daily basis, or you don't know yet?
I'm really not. Part of me, I'll say like 40% of me is feeling GRC and 60% is not, because I don't want to be like a policy enforcer. I don't want to be like the control police. However, I do consider myself a cybersecurity advocate in a sense of I kind of like security awareness concepts. I like OSINT, and you mentioned a lot about researching and finding information. So to me, it's like OSINT, and being able to use that in a field that would be helpful to an organization. Right now, I am a student as well. I'm doing the AI, artificial intelligence track with Purdue Northwest University, and that was through a federally funded grant that, thank God, I'm able to take the classes for free, but it is a brain dump. It's like 8 weeks, so it's a lot of material to cover. Python programming included.
I know. I was running from that. Yeah.
But it's
congratulations.
Thank you. So I'm trying to find my way. I'm building my brand. You mentioned about government contract, and I'm working with a friend right now in his business as we seek government contracts.
Okay.
So that's a starting stage.
Have you ever had any experience in government contracts?
Never. And we actually just came out of a class talking about how to win government contracts. And, we're working on a bid right now that, hopefully we can get a bid for a school system to deploy some Chromebooks to some schools here.
That's
in
good.
Georgia.
See, you're already meshing your tech career with, do you have any business training?
I don't.
Where
And
do you live?
I stay in Georgia, Atlanta.
Oh my gosh, you have so many resources. I want you to connect with me after this. Just hit me up on LinkedIn and we'll do a call, because I have women veterans down there that are doing very well in their businesses. You don't have to be a woman veteran, but just they will teach you the ropes in Atlanta and all those surrounding cities.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Thank you
very
so much.
important. I think you're built to be an entrepreneur.
You know what, Marylyn, to be totally honest with you, and I'll say it on record, I'm not quite there yet.
You think you got to sell something. You don't have to sell anything. You already are enough.
I received that. Thank you so much. Hey, Marylyn, one last question. I'm sorry, Dave, for interrupting you. With all the things that you got going on, and I appreciate you sharing your bio and everything that you're doing, the memberships and everything, but I must admit, I was exhausted listening to your bio.
I love the candor.
It's like, how do you find the time? How and where do you find the time to do what you do?
My kids left home.
Okay.
I have a lot of time. I can stay up. I'm on my own hours. I can make calls. I don't have to be hunting down somebody that didn't do what I asked them to do. They have their own homes.
Thank you for answering that question.
And candidly too. Hey, does anyone have Dio? Do you want to try to ask your question now, sir?
Yeah, seems God wanted me to be the last speaker.
Go ahead.
Yes. Concerning the elevator pitch, I believe I was supposed to just start with the elevator pitch, isn't it? Yes. My name is Deogratius Okelo. I'm from Uganda. I've been in tech since 2016. I started with studying software engineering for 3 years. Then I did computer hardware and networking for 2 years. Now I'm pursuing a bachelor's in networking and cybersecurity while networking through Cyversity and SANS and all that, and being mentored through Cyversity. I guess that's it for me. I've also
What do you want? What do you want? What do you want somebody to help you with?
Well, right now I'm in this stage of transitioning to become a SOC analyst. I'm currently going through the career path, but at the same time, it's not the same thing as doing something in class and then the same thing as what's in the market. So I need that combination of both, because when I was teaching, I used to have that feel of, you have learned something, but at the same time, you want to share it.
Yes,
yes. Or you have implemented something and you want to find out if it's actually working. So yes, I'm at that stage.
I just have a initial thought. Remember when I was talking about the kind of invisible leadership track in communities? I'm sure it's there. I've never been to Uganda, but there's organizations that need help, organizations that need the kind of things that you already know how to do. Maybe if you could start as a volunteer, I don't know if that's the proper term there, but a volunteer type person working with a small organization that has a mission that you believe in, and then your name will get around as somebody that's proficient in the skill, and possibly you can generate opportunities that way. And you can do it on your own time. You're not on anybody's schedule. You're just helping out an organization in need with maybe their security policies, with their equipment. And they'll say, hey, he came over here to help us. We appreciate that. They'll tell other people. It's just a thought.
Marylyn, that is such a great idea. And that's such a great statement. More often than not, organizations, small and or large, whenever you walk across the table and say, I'm going to volunteer and to give of my own time to be a part of what you're doing, it makes a big difference. One of my mentees is on the call, and Marylyn, I need you to meet, you probably know him already, Carlos Sandoval. He's one of my mentees. He's going to be at RSA. I was scheduled to be there, but my schedule just got all conflicted. But I'd like you guys to just spend a couple of minutes together because your hustle. And we used to have the Hustlers Club here before they had us
I
name this.
remember that. Yeah, I remember. But
So
you
I'd like
guys weren't you guys no women in there? Did you have women in there?
of course,
Okay.
What would
Because
we be
I
without
think I
women?
was trying to knock on the door one time and nobody answered.
You didn't
I'm
knock
just
on my
joking.
door, because if you'd knocked on my door, that thing would have flew open wide as could be. You know how we. In any event, I think what you've said about volunteering is critical. Carlos and I were talking about when he was in a networking position at his company, and he wanted to figure out how to get over to the security side. Let's go over there and volunteer. I want to help. I want to sit around. I want to do this. Before you knew it, they were taking note of the fact that he was volunteering his time and he had
Yeah,
an
they
interest,
know
a
him.
focus, and they know it. And
They
so
know
now
him.
he's part of that security analyst team over at his company. Carlos, you
Look at
feel
that.
free to come on and say something if you like, but I'd like you and Marylyn to spend some time together. And I still have my notes for you for RSA, sir. In any event, Carlos, 3 or 4 seconds. If you don't say nothing, I'm moving on. Right? There you go. So Marilyn, my last question to you is, and it's
Okay.
a simple question. It's a simple question, but I know it's going to have a voluminous answer. Right? What's next? I know that you're starting a company. What's next? What's the
Yes.
global next for Marilyn?
Well, it's not one thing. It's several things going on at the same time. I'm starting a new academic program with a dean slash director that I feel has the knowledge from the corporate sector to help me understand that sector better because I'm going to be a consultant. I know that's going to happen. I want to be a consultant and work with a consulting team. I'm not going to work a job 5 days a week. It's very unlikely that I'll do that. And I want to work in cybersecurity management, preferably in organizations that are in the industry that I know well, and that is healthcare.
Healthcare.
I know healthcare. On the personal side, in terms of my businesses, I'm going to do some of the same type of work in my business, continue with government contracting, simply because I am what's called a very precious thing. A service disabled, veteran owned small business. We can get federal contracts sole sourced to our businesses and set aside non competitively. I'm looking for partners,
There you
I'm
go.
looking for strategic alliances, all of that, so that I can get enough customers that are consistent and move into the 8A program. I have the whole strategy mapped out, but I feel, I never finished this thought in the previous questions. I feel that having a degree in cybersecurity is something that I cannot be ruled out for. If I have it, I can't be ruled out for not having it. Where I'm going, I am going to the C-suite. I am going to work with them because I understand business. I understand technology. That acumen is growing, and I understand people.
Mhm.
One of the
Yeah.
things I wanted to say to the younger people is you have to read, you have to be knowledgeable, you have to be a good communicator, and you have to really genuinely care about people. Like right now, I'm thinking about Beverly. I got a whole bunch of answers to talk to her about, especially in government contracting. I've been in government contracting since 2006. I'm thinking about what Angie said about writing the next book. You have to just divide your brain and your activities up into many pieces. I was trying to think of some other organizations. If anybody has a business, I just volunteered I'm a member of ISC Squared, the organization for information security professionals. And I just volunteered last week and took the training to be one of the people you get when you call ISC Squared if you are a small business for help with securing your business network. And so I'm volunteering for that. And I'm going to be actually doing something like that on a local level in Houston. And then we're going to eventually, Professor Chandler has said that he will work with me to do some tabletop exercises in the community, because obviously some of these small businesses don't feel as though they'll get hacked.
Right.
And we
Oh,
know that's
yeah.
not what the
That's
stats say.
totally, totally.
And we want them to be as cyber secure as they can, and introduce them to some vendors that are trustworthy and that they can afford to use their products to stay cyber secure. So I just had a 2-hour tabletop exercise with a company named Rubric 2 weeks ago here in Houston. But my first one was last summer with some doctors at the University of California at San Diego, and an organization called Healthcare Cybersecurity. So one of the things I want to say before this session ends, I am a trailblazer in this space. I'm not the first. I am one of several trailblazers that I've met across the country that believes that healthcare professionals should also be knowledgeable in information security and privacy.
Absolutely.
I said that in front of many, many distinguished audiences. I take my platform and my message everywhere. I've given 25 professional presentations. All of them did not go well because some organizations did not like the content I was delivering and what I was encouraging people with a shortage of nurses to move into cybersecurity. But certain people, we need them. Cybersecurity needs people that know the healthcare industry,
Absolutely.
know the healthcare space. And so they need us again. Cybersecurity needs us, and we who are stressed out, overworked, need cybersecurity. So I'm going to continue with my pilgrimage around the country. It worked once. When I did it with the women veterans, it landed me in the White House with the president. So I guess this time me and Angie will be in space somewhere rejoicing and trying to get people to start businesses.
Absolutely, and definitely in healthcare. I mean, having serviced a couple of healthcare organizations, you could see that the business that they're involved in, their business is based around financial. It's a combination of both attempting to really affect good healthcare outcomes, but that is based around financial buoyancy and whether you can or cannot actually get there. So they can get there, but they're one of the last bastions of industry to come full-fledged or whole cloth into cybersecurity. And they know they need it, right? They know they need it. And in some cases, just not doing it is also a profitability. It's also
yes, it's plenty of work out there. It's
No
just
doubt.
read one of the magazines every day.
No
There, I
doubt.
get online. There's plenty of work out there for healthcare cybersecurity professionals. Beverly, if you ever thought about it, anybody else, if you ever thought about it, plenty of work. Never a dull moment.
And Marylyn is ready to partner and work in collaboration with you.
I
Marylyn,
am ready to collaborate.
this has been such a great time. You know,
I hope so.
I
I
don't
hope
think
you
that
guys
we've
got
never
something out of it.
I don't think that you and I have ever been on a call that was less than an hour because of the content that's being exchanged consistently between you and I from the first time that we met. I'm sorry that when you came knocking on the Hustler Club door, no one answered. It should have been, you know, I'll take responsibility because I ran that club. So, but we're certainly happy to have you today, right? Because today you came and you blessed us.
I'm used because I'm a woman. They don't know what, and they don't let me in.
I feel guilty now. Watch your head nodding, Beverly. But in any event, look, so we have one more person that is asking a question. I can't pronounce the name, so I don't gonna tear that name up by trying to pronounce it. But can you come on and ask your question, sir? Come off mute.
Yeah, thank you, David. Good evening, Marylyn. Can you please hear me?
Hello.
So introduce yourself and ask your question, sir.
Okay, my name is Elcock.
That was tough.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes. It's
Okay,
a little muffled.
Yeah, sorry, it's my earpiece is not very loud.
Okay, that's fine.
So my question is, I came in very late, but I was lucky to be part of what the great advice Marylyn gave Gio, where she said that it's very important the place of volunteering volunteering your time, your skills for any country. And I said, okay, why not? I've been hearing this advice, volunteer, volunteer. So why not start now? I wanted to ask, Marylyn, your new company in healthcare, I completely agree with you. Healthcare is one of the hardest things when it comes to security threats. And the worst part is that they have little or no knowledge about security. All they care about is their patients, which is a good thing, but they don't really put much effort into securing their patients. So there's real need in the healthcare. And I really see into your desire to secure the healthcare. I want to know if there's an avenue for cloud. I'm more into cloud, and I have a preference for Microsoft as well. So I don't know if I want to volunteer. I don't know if if there's such space for such services for a cloud administrator and security engineer in your country. Yeah, thank you.
I think I heard a little bit about what you said, and the answer is yes, yes, yes. I don't know if you heard me earlier, but Friday, I was just notified that I won the Cloud Security Alliance training and voucher through a Cyversity program. So healthcare is in the cloud. So I got to be in the cloud and know the cloud to help out in healthcare the way I plan to. Thank you.
Yeah, the cloud is the next, it's the next frontier. But and the question is why? Why go to the cloud? What's your purpose? What's your North Star? What are you trying to accomplish? And as a practitioner, the question to you is, what are you trying to accomplish by going and studying the cloud? Is it just to make money, or is it to understand the efficacy or the course efficacy and the lack of or the resolution of complexity when you go to the cloud? Because the cloud will do that for you, but if you don't have the right strategy, you'll never get there. And in fact, many corporations have gone to the cloud and had not realized the results that they're looking for, and then have to retrack and go back. So the same thing should be applicable to you in your journey to trying to become a cloud engineer, to become a cloud expert. What is it and why is it? And that's the first thing you need to ask yourself is why? Why, and why definitively why? And come up with a real answer, a real clear answer. Like Marylyn said earlier, give yourself some time to think of the 3 things that matter in going to the cloud and becoming a cloud engineer. If it's about money, well, that'll dry up soon too, right? It'll dry up soon too, because after a while, only the best cloud folks will have those jobs. It's no different than what it is today. Only the best, they're only gonna, so if and think of the 3 things that matter. And then if it's really something that you've got 3 really key points, then dive in deep. And in the chat, there's Marylyn's LinkedIn is in the chat. Also, my LinkedIn is in the chat. But connect with us, and and we can find a way to provide you with resources that help you. Also, I don't know, do you know Dio?
No.
You guys don't know each other. Where are you dialing in from? Like, as if they should, right, Beth? Where are you?
I'm calling from Nigeria. Lagos, Nigeria.
You're coming from Nigeria. Okay, great. So look,
Nigeria.
Our LinkedIn is in the chat. Get into the chat, connect with us, and let's have that next level conversation, the next step conversation. Back to you, Marylyn, and thank you again. I've always treasured our conversations because they're really innovative and expansive, and we even get a chance to narrow it down to specific points. You and I had our last conversation. We narrowed on 3 things: a radio station that we're going to be looking at, right? We also narrowed on that contract in Texas and a couple of other things. So I'm always invigorated, and I absolutely love our time together, and I'm glad we had the time to share that with others.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, no doubt. Come back. And maybe what you should do is come back and interview some people. You saw the people that we have coming up. There's no slouches in that repertoire.
Oh, no, I saw that. Yeah.
No slouches in that. come back and bring your folks with you, and come back and maybe interview one of them.
That is a great idea. I'm going to read through their bios again.
You know it is.
I just want to highlight my support system. My dean is here, Dr. Wall. She's on the call. My personal assistant, I call her Flower, or you can call her Miss Smith, and as well as my favorite cybersecurity professor, the illustrious Professor Trevor Chandler. And I hope I'm not leaving out anyone. He's probably at a conference making himself acquainted with the food.
Nice, nice. Hey, Dr. Chandler, how are you, sir?
There he is. He's showing the group.
I swear.
He's at a cybersecurity conference, I'm sure.
On a Saturday, too, no less. Hey, guys, thanks so very much for joining. If there are no further questions and no further, I'm going to close it out like I normally do. Thanks very much for being here, and we'll leave the chat open for a little bit, and if you guys want to communicate. Thanks all. Be well. What's up, Chandler? What's up, dude? Nod your head to this. My man. It's good to see you, brother.
David, I'm going to call you in a few minutes.
Thank you, Marylyn.
Thank you, Marylyn.
Dio is one of my favorites, man. Absolutely, Dio. Love that. I love that cat. Be good, buddy.
Yes.
Have a good day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.